But it could be a 10,
It could be a
depending
10,
on those.
yeah.
I don't hunt, but if you take me with, I'll.
What do you gotta be, 3 inches to
think
score
so,
out?
If you take
yeah.
me with and like give me enough whiskey, I might fight the bear. Like,
No, you
I
just.
would pay good money to see that.
Oh,
black bears are fine. They're,
Yeah,
I weigh
it's a
as much
black
as a
bear.
black
Wow.
bear.
Oh, yeah. So they're hungry and decide on your food.
Next time on there saying you're gonna fight the bear.
That's the best. I think you gotta keep that, I'd like that into the
I'll
record.
go to the ABR,
That's just a pup, that's
LDC
fine.
chairman, kills
Yeah, you'll
bear.
be on
Yeah.
a whole new article.
Oh, yeah.
after
Wow.
your business review on it.
Just give me a mask and I'll be fine.
So,
And build your windows and kill your bears.
Yeah.
so I could see you as Nacho Libre.
Times Union article, IDH there, LDH there.
So.
It's bear fighting.
Vows to kill bear.
Well, Bear Bryant got his nickname.
trying to supplement his stash and frame business.
Yeah.
Moonlighting. Literally.
Undefeated Petersburg
Yeah.
bear fighter.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I can just picture you jumping off a tree
I'll do
limb.
the statue like you,
Exactly.
We gotta get that to the real news Troy person.
Yeah.
You jump, and AI, you jumping out of the tree.
just imagine the statue I'll get next to your
Yeah.
ancestor.
Yeah.
With the bear and bronze and everything.
Oh, man. You know what?
Yeah, that was hilarious. It made my whole day.
Awesome. This is great.
Like I said, don't hump, I'll fight. Okay, so we're gonna call to order the Troy Local Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting. It is 9:14 a.m. on November 21st. We're gonna start with approval of the October 17th and November 7th minutes. Do we have a motion to approve, otherwise questions, comments, anything like that?
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And no opposed, no absences. On to Executive Director's Report.
So with Proctor's, I mean, we were all together to approve the lease that the city council approved. So just a quick update that, we're now the Columbia and BBL are working with the building department. You know, we are reviewing design documents, permit documents, to get over to the building department. They did meet with the HRC last evening, the Historic Review Committee.
Thank you.
And there was some asks, but it sounds like I still need kind of a more deeper update on it, but it sounds like everybody was on the same page, that the meeting went pretty well. You know, the HRC got involved because there is some of that exterior work that's gonna be done in the William Street alleyway, like the entryway. So, you know, otherwise, everything else is just, you know, interior updates. But it's good to hear that meeting went well. We'll be looking to pull a permit in the coming days,
Week and a half,
hours,
I think,
yeah. But
Is the time frame still, are we still on?
yeah,
time?
we're still on track for the
Okay.
time frame, and they have, you know, there's been some meetings already with our Director of Code, Fire, getting some comments on that too. You know, we did have our weekly design meeting yesterday, hashed out a couple different things, so still on target to get where we need to be. So
Did last I knew there was a holdover that was still up in the holdover for this facility if it wasn't, you weren't out. Has that been?
yeah, actually.
We know that number?
Yeah, so part of the settlement agreement that will be, that the council approved last night, and part of that is, you know, us showing the support for an IDA pilot for First Columbia that the IDA board will be entertaining, but that with this current on the 5th floor, that yes, that we would, you know, have holdover if there was some type of delay or anything too. But that being said, the city's never gonna be paying dual.
No, I'm not, I just want, last I knew the holdover rate was not pinned down. Did it get pinned down?
For the.
If you don't get here, like, if you're not out by, if you have to be here in January next year,
Oh, yes.
there should be a rate
Yep.
that's negotiated in your lease now.
25% of
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we got, I think, 3 or 4 months extender at
Okay.
125% if
Yeah.
we need it.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
In tandem with that.
So it's 25% premium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the GMP contract is gonna have, delay penalties and clauses.
Okay.
They, will kick in starting generally November 1st of next year through December 31, because we need that time to load in,
Right.
load out. And then those delay clauses and penalties are gonna accelerate if we're using January 1 to April for that extended period. They're gonna,
Understand.
get
Yep.
more painful.
Yep, no, it's,
And that can be controlled through retainage or otherwise, but we're hopeful that all these things are
good, not,
conceptual.
correct. I just,
Yeah.
last I
But we're being
knew, though,
careful about
that it wasn't,
Mhm.
it wasn't defined what the holdover was gonna be, so I'm glad it's 25%.
And
Because that's reasonable, that's market rate.
That's part of when we
Yeah.
That
started
is
talking
market
about
Maybe it's holding back a new
the,
tenant.
Yeah.
TI period.
exactly.
No,
When we started talking about this new settlement too, that was something that came up.
Good.
You know, not because, again, like Justin said, we still feel like everything's on track, there's no signal that we'll have a delay, but again, I mean, it's good to have that cushion, and we wanted to, with them, we don't wanna get to, you know, if something does occur that causes a delay, get in October where now the city's going back and forth with, this landlord, so that's
Right.
another, you know, peace of mind.
For all the mechanicals, the MEPs, all the mechanicals, are those all current, or do you need to upgrade those? Like HVAC systems?
They're gonna be supplemented, so the electric system's gonna have add-on for the
Okay.
theater. The water,
Water's water, but
drainage,
HVAC
yeah, they're all
for
gonna
the-
be,
the-
HVAC's gonna be supplemental.
Interior
Okay,
structure.
I know there's been some delay on certain HVACs, because we just put in a Cambridge unit and it took longer than, twice the amount of time.
Okay.
We just went through some
We
experience.
assume
there.
BVL has a good
Transformers,
pipeline
too.
for supply.
Transformers.
Yes, transformers are, so I just wanna make sure you
Yeah.
maybe get those. I don't know if you can look at prioritizing maybe your longer lead items and maybe getting them on order prior to.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and that's
There'll be
part
BBL
of the
sourcing.
I
discussion
know it's
with
BBL, but still, it
They got
affects,
five power, you would assume, but.
Yeah.
but it also affects, so I'm just,
Yeah.
What's the,
things that I'm seeing in my
Oh, yeah,
business.
no.
I mean, how do you, because there's even like a physical, like courtyard-ish thing between the spaces, can you occupy the office block while the rest of the construction's going on?
That could be.
Theoretically, like, you,
Well, we're gonna
theory,
start
but-
off with
yeah.
RPI and the chamber still in there
yeah.
Good.
through about April. I think,
Got it.
RPI's out, by April, and I think they're about to get the chamber to acknowledge around the same time
So
window.
if that means if they can be in there, then yeah, the answer is yes, it's just, there might be,
Yeah, they're gonna be heavy into the
areas.
Yeah.
theater construction
Yeah.
and then pivot into the offices
Okay.
for the freshen up and
Okay.
realignments and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff,
Mhm.
so.
yeah. So I mean, worst case, you need a meeting spaces, that's an easier
That's, yeah,
thing
to your point, if
outside of
you're-
this.
Right.
Another
That's a good
worst
idea.
case scenario is you could see 90% of everybody in there while waiting, maybe.
Yeah.
a-
Right.
A meeting, a month for a council meeting or something, but
Okay.
again, we don't foresee any of
Oh,
that.
good, thank you. I don't mean to get you off track.
No, no, but it's
I
a good, Andy, it's a good point, and that's, again, but that also is another benefit of, you know, when we were reviewing these RFPs on the city end and making the determination of, okay, can you know, do we even go down the road of a complete new build? Do we do this? Do we do that? How do we evaluate all of it? And then, you know, knowing with BBL's, you know, Columbia and BBL's track record, and kind of like Justin said, their buying power and their pipeline
Yeah.
in the industry, you know, that was part of it, to give confidence that they could be, you know, if there's any group that could kind of hold to this timeline, that they would be it. And, you know, they haven't let down so far, so.
Good.
I
just know there's
would
some
even
stress
joke,
in the
I would
supply
even
chain.
joke,
That's
and
where I was going with it.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, they just already ordered the HVAC system, waiting for it. You know,
No, that's very-
because they've been doing so much on multiple tracks, knowing that, and I honestly can't wait to get in there and see, like, the flurry of activity, because it just,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just, you know, once upon a time, I used to go and, I worked for Lowe's and would set up stores, and, you know, like Vermont got its first store, and you'd go and see, and I know it sounds so corny, but it was like the most organized chaos, that literally shelves are getting
Yeah.
built, and then boxes are getting put on them as the electrician is drawing down lighting, and it was like so amazing to see. And I just that's the thought in my head, I keep seeing, like, how that's what this process is gonna be, because, I mean, they have to do that. That's what they're committed to get it done in the timeframe. And, but I think, again, a lot of, folks, you know, the office space, that big bulk of it there, is really some reprogramming. I mean, some
Not
walls
heavy
getting knocked
construction,
down, drywall getting put back up, a little, you know, rearranging some windows, making some accessibility elements, a little bit of carpet changing, freshen up paint type things.
Mhm.
One of the big things, each floor, the most, you know, some floors are even getting is just one wall knocked down that originally when they did the office space, because the historic tax credits they require them to leave the wall. But this wall's gonna get knocked down this way that it has complete lighting from that courtyard, so whichever end you're on it, so, that's another benefit is one of the benefits here is everybody's got, for the most part, you know, there's a decent amount of light, everybody's kind of space has light, so nobody really loses that. If anything, some folks will gain. Which is nice, nobody likes working in a, you know, cave,
Yeah.
so, but,
Some people do, but
yeah, yeah.
Program-
Yeah,
programmers,
yeah.
guys on CAD all day, so.
It's actually we are, 'cause one of the person in this building that really works in the cave is our IT director.
Yeah.
And we're doing all the programming and we're like, oh my God, he's the only one without a window again. And it just, because of some other things had to move, it worked out that his space got moved out of there, and I'm like, I feel so bad. He's like, he always jokes, he's just like, yeah, people come over, say it's sunny out today, I have no clue, I'm just in here
He's
on
the
my
vampire.
computer. Yeah, so.
Are you guys gonna do wireless, or are you guys gonna do wired? Have you gotten that?
Speaking of our IT director, that'd be a great question for him, but I do know that, I know we talk about this floor and the way that the wireless is set up is absolutely horrendous, and I know that we're doing everything we can to combat that. So, I just, off the top of my head, I don't know if it's completely
I think
wireless
there's
or
Cat 6
hardwired.
drops on the workstation.
I think that each, yeah.
It's Ethernet
Yeah.
connected, yeah.
Because
Well,
I mean,
it currently is,
each-
right, but is it,
Well, no,
each
well, they
floor-
try to do as much wireless here, but the building's a,
yeah,
it's a
that's,
mausoleum, it doesn't
Oh,
allow
yeah.
the
well, that's where I'm dealing with too, with,
Yeah.
you know.
the Wi-Fi doesn't go through, you know,
Right.
foot-thick concrete
Doesn't.
walls.
And that's why we were so adamant about, you know, each floor has all those different connections and stuff like that too, so we could be a little bit more. So I would think more of it would actually be hardwired in workstations where I'm sure we'll still have Wi-Fi, of course, but, I know even with me, they had to hardwire just my little printer because
Yeah.
it would not, I could not print, and I almost threw it out the window because it was just so,
Been there,
you know,
done that.
when I sit down, I love trees and everything, but, you know, I like printing documents to read them, and I take a certain time of the day to do that, and it just, I'd be hitting print, it would not work, and I'm running to the other end of the floor and back and forth to print 200 pages of documents. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, so.
You and I are the same way, I gotta hold, if I hold it and read it, then I remember it.
It
If I read
is.
it on a screen, I can't, I just doesn't.
They've done studies that say everybody is gonna, you just retain off of a piece of paper,
Right.
but just like if you read a newspaper
Right.
versus I guess the way our brains work, you know, you retain it more, but I need to like, you know, be like, oh, that's interesting, come back
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you off track.
No, that's
You
fine.
said the Historic Review Commission has a say in the alley?
Well, when you're touching the exterior of a registered building, it's
The
still
whole
part
building,
of
yeah.
their regulatory purview under the charter.
Right.
So if you're on a historic building and you're putting signage on the front, they have a
Well,
say
that's
so.
absolutely, but I would
This
imagine an
involves
alley is.
canopies, it's in the back of the building, but it's still part of the
Yeah.
building, so.
Because it's actually it's the entryway into the alleyway, so
Yeah.
that's why, since we're touching the exterior of the building,
We're widening
facing out
some
that,
doors
and-
back there too,
Yeah.
putting a ramp on and.
And could we
yeah.
kind of dance around that, but we just were like, let's go and get, you know.
Just get it nailed down and-
Get their
Are they gonna make you
opinion
put the big 18-foot letters on the top, like the old Proctor's
I
letters
know.
for City Hall and stuff? So.
I know, which that's still something that we will be going back to them for, to discuss signage. And I don't, a lot of people might not know, but and I just discovered it one day looking around, but there is the huge old city seal that was on One Monument Square. It's actually, and I want to meet whoever rolled it in here. It's sitting in the law libraries, the law storage room. Yeah, it's just massive. It's covered by just a blanket.
Hmm.
I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what? And somebody, I think Rick was like, oh, that's from the old One Monument Square, that was the seal on City Hall, and I'm like,
Interesting.
who wheeled that up here?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, otherwise, no, that's all moving, that's
Good.
all on track. Geothermal, do you have a couple points on that, Just?
We're working on
I
an
know we're at
LOI
this LOI
with
legal
National
part of
Grid
it,
and
yeah.
that will outline the process where the city will lease the bore field, the park, to the LDC, along with a small piece of One Monument Square for an energy center and pump station to be built by National Grid. All of this will involve the LDC subleasing it to National Grid to construct the improvements, and we're working through some rough economics of how that subleasing and leasing structure will work in terms of rentals, and how it's all gonna work. And of course, that's all up to the PSC, who could just say no. But we're trying to work through that process.
Yeah.
So,
Just curious, how long does that
Yeah.
typically go for, until renewal, something like that?
well, it's a 30-year period that we have the ability to, the city has the ability to lease the park real estate. Grid's preference, because of the U10 process, the geothermal pilots that are being imposed upon utilities across the state, including Grid here, is a 5-year pilot. So Grid is asking, and the structure contemplates an initial 5-year period with 5-year renewals out
That
of
makes a lot,
30 years.
yeah, that sounds like would make more sense for utility, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of the difficulty or some of the minutia there is, what happens at year 5? If
Yeah.
they tap out, or PSC says you're out, or we're no longer gonna provide this utility, which in reality, if you think logistically, you're gonna tell all these customers in downtown Troy to re-retrofit their building and get rid of geothermal and go back to,
Right.
so I don't know logistically how that even happens.
Well, that's
but,
what I feel like
yeah.
that's what we've always kind of leaned into, that the only way for them to back out of it is if the PSC lets them back out of it, and how would the PSC let them back out of it for that exact reason?
Right.
I mean, it would have to be, just some unforeseen tremendous failure because it's not like geothermal's new, it's just that
Right.
the arrangement
It's untested
between
in our market.
the
yeah.
municipality and LDC and National Grid, that's the unique part of this,
Right.
this
Yeah,
project.
ours is more difficult than the others. I mean,
Yeah.
other areas where Grid has site control or enough real estate within a dense area or part of a campus, because this usually happens inside of a large college
Mhm.
or a campus environment where you have self-contained loop systems, they work. This one's difficult because you're using a municipality's real estate to do commercial heating and cooling in a loop, and how do you get those two entities talking together? And
Mhm.
that's really been what we've
Yeah,
been
the
studying and
challenge,
negotiating for 3 years at this point.
yeah, nothing's gonna, everything on the Monument Square pad and the park is gonna be fine. It's, how many buildings is it? Like, that's the,
There's an
Yeah.
identified customer base that goes up to, I think, something like 450,000 square feet of internal
Yeah.
space, and that's kind of dialed into the scale and size of the bore field. But
Yeah.
how that works and getting those customers to go online and getting the new construction to line up with that kind of
Yeah.
timeline, that's the real unknown.
Yeah.
That's where the risk lies, so.
Does a business owner, or does the building owner have the opportunity to opt out if they don't want to? Do they have to take it?
The zoning code didn't mandate. So there's really no stick at the
Okay.
municipal level to force people to engineer MEPs
Yep,
at that
yep.
level. So they could choose to go all electric. They could choose to use gas to the extent that they continue to use gas.
Mm-hmm.
To use this would theoretically would be cheaper, but the price modeling hasn't even really been dialed in yet.
Right, 'cause
Whether it costs more or less.
Right.
And quite frankly, the metric by which they're gonna charge by the linear foot of cold water, I don't know. How are they gonna charge by therm or square footage?
Well, in the
or-
Middle East, when they do the district cooling, they do the delta T, the change in temperature between the inflow and the outflow of your building.
Right.
So you can build a building with leaky, shitty windows, okay? So your change in temperature would be significantly higher.
Yeah, but if you're
Or
tight,
can
you're
put
gonna
in-
have a
if
better
you're tight,
build.
you're gonna have a better build, you're gonna have a lower
Yeah.
cost, so
You should tell Grid, yeah.
I'll be glad to. I've
that's a
been there, done that.
that makes a lot of sense when you're
Yeah.
dealing with like private entities like that, like
Yeah.
that model.
So the delta T, and they also measure. So if you have a leaky system, so they'll measure if you're putting in 100 gallons and you're only getting out 98.
There's no incentive on a college campus to
No.
treat it that way, because
No.
it's like,
No.
what
No.
are we gonna do?
They're
Like,
just trying to
find the
eliminate
math department
external
more,
bills,
like,
yeah.
what?
Right.
Mhm.
So, okay, good.
Interesting.
So you're still probably a year out, at least, I would think, on geothermal? At
Yeah.
least?
A couple PSC, check stations along the way, and probably, if I were to be optimistic, May, June, July next year, going to council and asking for the lease approvals,
Mhm.
and then, once that's approved and signed, then that gives Grid the ability to use the space as, and construct and deploy,
Okay.
and that might take a year to put the system in.
So we're looking, you're probably,
27?
I was gonna say, you're looking probably 28 before you have any customers hooked up, at least, right?
Absorbing customers 27 into 28, and then
Okay.
stabilizing the system probably 28.
Yeah, okay.
Some of the
Guessing.
big off-takers are already, like, say, Music Hall that's doing their big project and stuff. I mean, they're part of their, project is preparing to
Okay,
take, so I mean, I guess
They're
on
retrofitting.
their
section,
end, they're
yeah.
a little, like, that will make them a little ready to take it, but yeah.
okay. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's doing construction downtown, that's where I'm going, besides music.
Well, YWCA could benefit from it, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
I know the library's one of the,
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
we, obviously, there's, and,
Okay,
we're really key on trying to see something happen at One Monument Square, and
Yeah,
there's various conversations going on with that, so you'd think, okay, whatever potentially gets developed there, if anything, besides just a nice grassy knoll, can be an off-taker as well. And King Fuels, Andrew, with the tanks, our favorite tank, it's been a while since I've mentioned the word tank, so I just didn't know.
The drum that had existed, excuse me, was removed, and the subsequent cleanup of the soil was done. Everything's good in that respect. That was just a precursor to next year, when Grid starts their phase 3 in that area. In the old E-Lot building, substation, and along the river going south.
Mm-hmm.
The phase 2 is formally closed now. Starting next month, the license fee will be reduced from the $9,921 that we're getting on a monthly basis now to $7,893. As everything demobilizes, relative to phase 2, the security fencing that existed on the east side will be going away. So, big area now.
didn't we buy that fence?
No, the rental.
It's a lease, right?
It was always a rental from National, and when National Grid started remedial construction, they just assumed the lease that we had for
Okay.
the fence.
By this point, is there a conversation where you could have with National Rental, like, how much to take the fence? Can we buy it out at some point? Because I don't know how many years we're gonna keep going and need to control that space.
That's exactly where I was going.
Control, I mean,
Yeah, 'cause we were having,
It might be a
that's
couple
the
more
whole,
years
right,
post
so-
remediation.
Found people dumping there,
We're in it.
so,
the accessibility is always going to be there, regardless of the fence.
Right.
Because
they could just dump on the
people
street.
can access it through the rail line area. And also, there's.
Maybe put the money into trail cams.
You just cut it.
Right.
So everything being open now, though, gives a huge area of visibility from the north and south.
There was always like brush piles and piles, people could pull in behind and sneak in and dump,
Yeah.
and,
Very true, too.
yeah, so it's a little bit more,
And so it's just
wide
getting
open.
through the winter, because then come spring, back on site for another year. We'll have that security.
Right, that phase 3 was helpful when he shared that, so everyone understands the finish line here.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
that's-
could be next October, November.
That's,
Pass this around, that Dream Tank.
This is amazing.
stabilization. So that's along.
This is the Wynant-Kill
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
to the east.
okay.
This shows what the DEP standards are now, rather than, the old time just throwing
Yeah.
riprap and shot rock along the waterways, but they had
Or just pave it, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they took down,
Jeez.
all the piping that was spanning, the wine and skill, they took down the old fencing,
that was the oil pipes that would fill that old tower.
well, those were pipes wrapped with asbestos, so they did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did a,
Oh, wow.
it would come from the Alamo
Mm-hmm.
in a hot liquid form, and for the creosote and stuff, and all those pipings were transmission back and forth, as well as the gas holders. Going
So So we avoided that ACM
Yep.
problem,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the only ACM that exists now is with the Sperry Warehouse, so, and,
I thought the Sperry warehouse was completely gutted.
There's a lot of, I think,
No.
sprayed and blown and wrapped and all kinds of stuff
no,
in there, right?
it's the roof.
Oh, is it the roof?
That's a,
Problem is, you've got a situation where, in order to abate, you would have to shore up walls so significantly that the cost would be more than the bringing it down hot and just putting it as.
no, the Sperry's up in Monroe, right? Madison, Monroe? Is that the
No,
same
no.
Sperry?
That's
No,
Main.
Sperry Warehouse is, on Main Street, right across from the jail.
Okay, okay.
Section.
Okay, there was a Sperry warehouse part of it, it was up on I was up on Monroe too.
Okay,
'Cause it was part of Bruno's building, so that's why I was,
oh, okay,
'cause I looked at that before we bought the tech park, so,
yeah.
20 years, oh my God, 20 years ago.
Any other-
Holy Jesus.
Watch
20,
out.
22 years ago now.
Blink.
Hoi, hoi. So, okay, thank you.
So everything's progressing, and more than likely land remediation will be continuing as National Grid's contractor next year, and that should be it.
Right, who's that contractor? Land?
Remediation.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that's really exciting that, I mean, this has been
Yeah.
such.
They're
I
looking to
mean,
catch up next week. I don't know what your Tuesday looks like. I know you're getting out of Dodge.
Yeah.
But, we can find an hour for, Chuck and Tyler and all those guys.
Yes, yeah,
Looking, I know Kitty's just been kind of monitoring the emails, but they've been asking for
Yeah,
meetings, so
yeah.
we might need to look at our
we'll
calendars.
see if we can get them in Tuesday. It's filling up because I'm
Yeah.
chucking a lot, throwing a lot in and
See you in
the last
December.
3 days
Yeah.
before I can
Yeah.
take off, yeah. But no, we can look into that though.
Will there be anything in front of the board anytime soon?
We would bring it in December conceptually. It'll take a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
the concept is getting to an LOI with them for portions of the King Fuel site to facilitate the relocation of the salt pile and other transload stuff. Exciting, but there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Relative to transmission of property, the phase one and phase two on the eastern site will all be released. The only thing that will be continuing to be used is the northern portion of the LDC property, which is near the Sperry Warehouse. That's where the trailers and, kind of their office location is, while the third phase of remediation starts next year. So any kind of, construction on the site would still go through National Grid land remediation, because they won't have a full site management plan until all phases of remediation have been completed. But in the interim, it's kind of like their standard requirements,
Okay.
for any kind of subgrade excavation.
So just to be, because part of it, like you said, would be released, but they'd still have to go through National Grid, or if they're doing any type of that.
Right.
So would you, I mean, just out of curiosity, do you, so for, could you make an argument that any type of development until they're completely released through the construction, or even if they finish phase three, there's still gonna be a similar, like,
Well, they're,
where they have to go through for any, you know what I mean? So if somebody, let's say that we start, there's activity down there, we wanna get somebody to kind of get a ball rolling on some type of development, they'd have to go through National Grid, but once phase three is completely done, does that end that requirement, I guess,
Well,
is my
I
question,
think
making sense?
logistically-
Going through National Grid, you have an established site management plan that has controls, so similar to the Skolite site that we have. If development were to go there, it would be restricted to a certain degree because of the contamination that might exist
Any
there.
subsurface foundations, anything that's put in the ground,
Anything that
is to
disturbs-
follow the DC rules.
Mhm.
The remedial construction would be
Okay.
scrutinized
Well,
and have to.
We haven't mapped it all out yet, but the most likely path of events is the National Grid's gonna continue to remediate. And all we're really talking about is north of the Winneskill now for the first phase of industrial relocation. Grid is gonna be using the LDC's 4 acres north of the Winneskill as part of this phase 3 for transloading, and it's basically logistical piles and stuff,
Well,
right?
that's their bridge.
Yeah, their bridge is there as
Bridge
well.
access as well.
So if they're out of there by the end of '26, they have a time frame that's somewhat concrete, we
Mhm.
think. In the meantime, Sperry may come down, and
Well,
that's
that's what I was
off
gonna
the
say,
site.
yeah.
We might be able to use some of the time to get Sperry down,
Be nice.
get
Yeah.
that prepped, and then the global kind of merger of everything north of the Wine-Skill can start to occur at the end of '26,
Yeah,
and
the-
be
the-
built in '27.
Yeah,
So,
the north,
I
I
think-
mean, the north of the Wine-Skill, with the exception of the area that's being used for the trailers and such, is available, as
Right.
is everything south of the Wine-Skill on the east side.
Right.
And there's rail spurs involved here, new ones,
Mm.
so it's a thing.
Okay, that's right, that's exactly where I was going with all
Yeah.
this thing with the Sperry
Yeah.
warehouse, going, okay, if we've got contractors on site that are doing this work, it may be prudent to us to engage to get the Sperry warehouse down while they're
Right.
mobilized, while they're on site,
Mhm.
and, you know, again, economics of scale
Yeah.
may play well into our hands.
Yeah, they're not mobilized.
So we gotta get that
Right.
going straight.
Yeah,
Right,
no.
and permits and the people and the,
I've definitely learned that's a
That's-
large
that's on my
savings.
list.
it's a large
Yeah.
savings.
Yeah, I've learned that
Right.
now with you know, if I
Yeah.
got them in an
Oh,
area,
besides that, you also know the people,
not
you know
paying
who they are.
robes.
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah. So, again, so what would we have to do to basically go out for an RFI to pull down Sperry? That's our building, right?
Without going too far into it, I think the ultimate plan may be for the LDC, because we have authority from city council to take that land, we just
Well,
haven't yet.
The easiest way to do it is condemn the building.
Okay,
What I'm saying is we're gonna sell Sperry and let a private sector developer take it down, hopefully using Restore New York money.
Mm,
Well,
Okay.
that would be.
That's good for everybody?
yes,
If that transaction occurs, and then the city condemns it, and then you can take it down hot, and everything's fine.
There might be a regulatory approach there, yeah.
okay,
Which has backfired in the past a couple times, but we need to do it intelligently, I think, and that
Okay.
Restore New York application and demolition and redevelopment could also take down ELOT. Same application,
that would be nice.
same footprint. And if there's anything else, maybe even the silos,
Mm.
get rid of them, make it all part of the same
Well,
contract,
there's no issue anymore, the gas line now, fine.
tip them over.
E-lot, we already did the asbestos survey, there's nothing there, so it's.
We're gonna let Seamus do the dynamite thing.
Oh, I think it need to be on the excavator, just sort of have the hook,
I'm
you know?
like, trigger the bears.
Exactly, get the bears, exactly.
There used to be
Ah.
a large chimney there, right on the King Fuel site, and if I remember, it was Don Leduc and someone else. I think they auctioned off
They
the ability to
auctioned
hit the box and like, blow it, and it went bam. It was about 200 feet tall. It was a
that
big
is
brick thing.
The little kid
Yeah.
in me would definitely still love to do
Yep.
that. I actually, we talk about ELOT sometimes, because we talk, I'm just a random, but, you know, on the city end, we talk about, we wish we had the ability to reclaim, asphalt and paving and stuff, for, you know, filling up potholes and things, and everybody always brings up, if we still had ELOT, we could use that to do it, and, yeah, but, I don't know, maybe we'll have to carve out some space at the Ross Industrial Complex or something, but
We got room.
but it was, because
You
we
might
just,
need to
you know,
abstain from that vote.
we constantly
Exactly.
we constantly keep talking about how it just doesn't, I mean, look, we try so hard to get every pothole and all that, but, you know, and, you know, we even work towards trying to get the actual staff to kind of, you know, fill the pothole right, but at the end of the day, you can only go so far with cold patch, and, you know,
Doesn't work.
it just doesn't.
Doesn't work.
You know, so,
I mean, it's temporary.
yeah.
Everybody
Real
understands that? It's temporary.
It's so, yeah, it's like,
Yep.
it's like, let's do this for that when they come back in a week to completely, I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's its only purpose,
Yep.
but, you know,
They're
on the
doing,
list, reclaiming asphalt.
you're doing 102nd today, looks like.
Yes,
Anyway,
yeah,
we'll
we're,
talk
It's a
about
little
that.
cold.
we can talk
Yeah.
about that too, yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite topic,
Exactly,
yours too.
yeah.
Okay,
That's,
for my group report.
that covers our executive,
Teamwork.
Covers
Yeah,
everything.
our new, our old, and now on to financials with Matt.
How are we looking, Matt?
For now, we're good. Report statement financial position. As of October 31st, we had total assets of $3,599,301, with $491,109 of that is cash. We had total liabilities of $999,624.78. which left us with a fund balance of $2,599,676.39. There's no significant changes to the same financial positions for the month of October. And lastly, we have the statement of activity. For the month of October, we had a surplus of $52,496. Most significant source of revenue was ARPA money that was received, and our largest expense was for the Community Business Improvement Grant.
What's the Monolith Solar? $2,000.
That is the solar panels on top of the county waste roofs.
Got it.
They pay us a couple thousand a year in rent for that, and I'm not sure if they're being fixed or what's going on.
Okay.
On the list to catch up with, yeah, to work it. I know the last, I think we, Danae, didn't we, I do recall, there was a cross-insurance conversation going on with, the building over down, by Waste Management.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
haven't,
kind of still in the insurance hands as of now?
I think they're working it out between themselves.
Yeah, that's.
I haven't heard anything, I don't think Justin has.
That's what I
Okay.
suggested.
Yeah, Danae, let
Leave us
them,
out of it.
yeah, seriously, I mean, that was the best, yeah,
We're just gonna slow that down.
exactly,
Mhm.
figure that out, so, all right, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Any, questions or comments? Otherwise, we have a motion to approve the statement of financial position.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? And motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.